my kid. So yeah, we'll see. We'll track it for you guys. We'll keep you posted. It's 7-Eleven, Monday, December 6th. Senator Jim Moylan in the KUAM News Link Zoom room. Good morning, Senator.
Morning, Chris. How was your weekend?
It was well. I put up a Christmas tree. That was
fantastic.
That's what I did this weekend. Right on. Yeah, good. How about you?
Yeah. The ringing has stopped in my ear, but I was fortunate to be ringing the kettle for the kettlebell for the Salvation Army in front of GPO and our staff out there. And what was interesting is that the people really gave.
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with us trying to dance and ring this bell and play some music at the same time. But it was really nice to see folks give and kind of filled up our kettle there. So, and what I understand from the supervisor of the Salvation Army, they're managing the buckets at the different malls. People are giving, so that's a really plus. They can also use a lot more volunteers. After our shift, 11 to 1, there was not an ex-volunteer. They asked us if we wanted to stay, but already I was done shaking and rattling and rolling for that morning. So if other folks are interested, I'm sure they will be more than happy to accept any volunteers to be in front of these malls. So that was nice.
Well, that is cool, and yeah, people are being very generous. We just had Giving Tuesday, and especially when you hear, Senator, how many people are struggling out there. It's like those of us who have been so blessed and lucky to keep our jobs and to keep our income. It's like you're seeing those people step up to kind of lift everyone, and I just think it's a shame that we're not seeing the same out of the highest elected positions on the land. Instead, what we're seeing is this conversation about why aren't you giving the people the money? Why aren't you giving the mayors the money? And you were a big part of that conversation as Congressman St. Nicholas had his press conference. And it's kind of put the mayors in this interesting position where they've got the governor on the one side saying, I'm only going to give you $17 million. And then you got the congressman saying, you guys could get a whole lot more. Right? So let's just start from there. What have you heard since that press conference?
Right. Well, nothing really other than what I read in the news as well, which is helpful because it doesn't really come from the administration to the co-equal branch of government so the legislature can understand. But this has started several months ago when took a trip out to D.C. And we asked the congressman, had the appointment time, and asked Congressman St. Nicholas, so how can we help the mayors? And he basically said, well, the money's in the ARP, and said, show us. And then they went on further to explain the $30 million available for the village, for the counties and municipalities, and the additional 17.6 for the pandemic aid for the counties and municipalities as well. So right away, we did our normal thing and wrote a letter to Adelup and 3 months ago and asked, so what's going to happen? And there was no answer. So then when we came back from that trip, we had a little news conference for ourselves there and found out a lot of information wasn't shared with the entire mayor's group, which is unfortunate. And it seems that's what we had to do continuously with this administration, push for the information. And all we're asking is show us your plan on how you're going to utilize this money, which, all right, if we understand we're not municipalities, if we're not a county, it's the spirit of the law that the American Rescue Plan was given out. And what I'm reading as well is that the administration is kind of going with that too, after scolding us to say, don't you know the difference between municipalities and counties? That Guam has villages. It doesn't fit into that square, just like how you write your FOIA request. It doesn't fit into that square. But what is the concept we're asking for? We're asking to help the mayors. And now I understand from different interviews that they are aware that this money is coming, and they believe they have a commitment. And usually you can, I could say my father's days, maybe a commitment was with a handshake, but nowadays, I'm not sure. Usually it requires, especially with federal money, some documentation which the legislature has been asking for to explain this so we can kind of work it in with our budget. But that's another interview story worth a few hours. But when are they going to get this money? And now, if the intent is there, which was the whole idea, as the congressman was saying, as our office was saying, as I bump into a few of the mayors, over the weekend as well, and they're saying too, keep on fighting for us because we really don't know when this is going to happen. So we understand it's 2 years, but already the the 17.6 million for the pandemic aid, half of that has already been released. 8.8 million since June. July, August, September, October, November, right? So, well, it does. If I haven't seen the plan, and the mayor is saying there's a commitment, what are we waiting for? Is it because we want to do some roads in the villages and the supply for materials is limited? I don't know. Is it because the mayors are still determining how to divide this money up, if they even have a say? Because what the governor has told the legislature in her, and she announced it at her National Government Association meeting, kind of saying, us governors are really strong, and I was able to stifle my senators on Guam telling me where we should invest this money. So I put them in their place. Is that the same attitude Adelup is going to give to the mayors as well? And I just hope we don't do that, where the mayors feel, since they're not a co-equal branch of government, but kind of fall under the, the wing of the executive branch. Don't piss off the governor.
Oh man, I mean, I was embarrassed that she was making fun of you guys over there in Washington D.C. It was just a bad look. You know what I mean?
Right. You go all the way over there on taxpayers' dollars, and you want to tell on a panel, a selected group of panel. Let me tell you something, my fellow governors. I know how to put my legislature, my senators, into check. Well, first, Governor, I'm not your senator, right? nor are any of us 15. We're the people's senators. We were elected, so were you elected, and we're a co-equal branch of government. And it's our duty to not just say yes, ma'am, or yes, sir. It's our duty to double check and make sure it's doing correctly. The people call us up constantly asking for assistance. We try to help the mayors as well, who need the assistance too. But it's not necessarily that I want to rattle a cage. But if I'm not getting any answers, I'm not supposed to say, well, the governor didn't answer me. It's not too cool. Well, what is your job then, Senator? Just to sit back and wait for the next thing the governor doesn't answer you on? I don't think so. Likewise for the mayors, and that's where I think Congressman San Nicolas was saying too. It's time to say, let's get this going. Yes, there's a 2-year period you can utilize this money. So where's the plan? What starts in the next 6 months? What's the next year? And how does this work to make sure this money is spent? And how equally is it shared within the villages?
Yeah. What's interesting to me, Senator, is this release that came out from Adelup, and it was kind of like chiding, right? Like, oh God, we don't have counties on Guam, we have villages. I mean, I get it that technically they're not called counties, but each village is made up of little areas that, to me, why wasn't the conversation instead, hey, we'll get you more money? Yeah, we can find a way to argue you guys are counties. And then on the other side, Senator, it's like the administration came out and they're saying we're going to give. But when we talk to the Mayor's Council of Guam president, they can't even get their COVID differential pay. So why is the governor being so tight and greedy with this money, and the mayors, they can't? And who earns this COVID differential pay? It's not necessarily the mayors. It's their staff. They're hardworking, working people who are shoveling up dead dogs, picking up trash, delivering them manamco meals. They can't even get their COVID differential pay. And we're supposed to sit here and be like, okay, Auntie Lou, you're going to give the mayors how much million? Oh, whenever you're ready. Thank you.
It happens again and again and again. And that's just the leadership of our current administration when we have all this money. And so, just because our villages didn't qualify for as counties or municipalities. Now the money is still there. That's an additional, let me see, 40, almost $50 million more on top of the 553. So it comes closer to $612 million that totally that Guam will get for ARP, and it's waiting. 8.8 has been there for villages since June. Why can't we start now? Why can't we pay the COVID differential pay? I'm sure that's all available there too. They sound like they're really concerned that when we start spending this money, it's done properly. I guess we learned from our 13th floor with the CARES Act, right? So that's okay. That's fine. So you know now. So implement. It's just unfortunate that these questions come up when we should be united and working together to start it off in our villages and work it all the way up for our different government services. And instead of saying how great my administration is, let's show it with our villages. Let's show it with our increased police force. Let's show it with how these agencies are better performing. Let's show it with the permitting department. Let's show it with the roads. Instead of advertisements, I see in the newspaper talking about there's more pandemic money available for small businesses. A whole page advertisement. 1/3 of that page is the faces of our current government officials. Why?
Of course it is. Hello.
Yeah.
It's called multitasking, Senator. They're campaigning and they're telling people, hey, come get this money, and guess who's giving you this money?
Right? Yes. Yeah. With a quote on saying how great the administration is doing. Allow the people to say that for you. Allow the businesses to say that for you. Let them pull out an ad for you.
But Senator, I just got to say that if it was a Republican governor, I'm pretty sure it'd be the same thing. Your picture would be up and they're like, hey, it's just the nature of it's politics.
I
right?
wouldn't.
I mean,
right,
but I get
yes.
it, and I'm glad you called it out. Because you're right, a lot of these videos on the Facebook, I'm not really sure what the messaging value of it. They just seem to be these gratuitous, like, let's show the governor doing this or doing that. I mean, they're pretty much, to me, campaign materials.
Yes, right. Smart, especially since you want to get reelected. Yeah. But is like what you're mentioning, the advertisement purpose should be talking about this pandemic funds available for the businesses. Well, what's the qualification? You must be A, B, C. And how do I apply? 1, 2, 3. And who do I call? Big, bold numbers, right? Sure, put the governor's logo there, but make it the most thing, right? Look at some of the advertisement for commercial businesses when they're selling the product. They really attract you to that to get you there. What are we selling here? It's a picture of our current administrators. That's federal funds, right? And you're right. Yeah, probably whoever the governor is, may want to do that too. But would we have to mandate that? It's like, knock it off. Don't use federal funds or local funds to tell how great you are. Let the people decide that when they go into the election booth. Let the media decide that when they want to do an interview with you, if you so have the
if you can still grace us.
Gumption or the strength
gumption,
to come up
the gumption.
Gumption to get onto the link and answer some questions, to spread the word about to the people, whether it be Department of Public Health with the new variant coming on over here, hopefully not coming here, but educating the public. You have to be able to take it. You have to be able to get in front of the media and answer their questions. After all, you folks are just asking that for the people of Guam. Likewise, the senators are too. It's just not our idea. It's because the people are talking to us and they're expecting us to give answers.
How juicy do you think this session's going to be? Because they have this the LEAP bill, right? Which is like the governor's going to use 25 mil from the ARP, and then they're asking that we dump out all the local money piggy banks and count up all our pennies so that we can match a 25 mil. Do you think it's going to be pretty hot, Senator?
There will be a lot of talk to say how important it is to help the small businesses, and the small business. Of course, we're talking to us too to try to get this bill moved forward, and I'm glad it did. I don't necessarily see a senator wanting to say no to this bill. I think it would be a unanimous decision to help support these other groups for supporting tourism. Right? They're going to come back to Guam, and they're not going to have these other additional tours to attend. So what are they going to do on the island? Right? These guys need to survive, and it's hard to when you're a small business operating like this. But what I think will happen, my projection is the governor then signs it into law, because it also agrees with what she did with the ARP fundings, right, to kind of match it. But when is it going to be implemented? We got 2 years to do this once again. Is it on her call or not, right? Or like the RISE Act, right? We had to call that out. And then it's gradually happened until it became the All RISE Act, when it becomes the administration's plan. And then it's fully backed. And then we find out how much is spent and how many people were there and how satisfied everybody was. And we removed the cap. But unless we pushed it, I think that would have been a different story. Likewise for this bill to get passed, it should go really smooth. But when is the implementation process? Because it's basically up to the governor, as we saw with the RISE Act as well. So hopefully it's not going to be further waited on for approval of federal funding.
But Senator, let me get in
there's
here.
No plan.
So the governor was just in D.C., and I'm pretty sure a lot of your colleagues, it's still very fresh. I might just play it again coming up. Do we still have the clip? The My Senators clip? No, we'll get it. I'll play it just to warm you guys up for session. But right, if I'm a senator and I'm looking at this and I'm seeing this video of the governor saying, oh, my senators back in Guam, they're so mad because they can't even touch this ARP. I would think that that's going to make me grouchy for this week's session. And I'm going to be like, oh, we can't even touch the ARP. Well, why don't you just use all the ARP for your precious LEAP program? Like, so you really don't think anybody, you're saying it's going to be unanimous to support? I totally disagree. I think a lot of people are going to say, hey, use the ARP. We don't have no local money. I think that's going to be the huge, I mean, it's a huge debate. And it's unfortunate that the small businesses are put in this position where they have to advocate for something that I want to say personally, maybe they don't feel is a good position to be in, right?
Right. And yes, that's true. The governor can today, with the stroke of her pen and the executive order, here's the $70 million that you need. And that's one of the arguments I was upset with when they first came to present this to me, the business folks, right? I wasn't upset with them. I was upset that the governor hasn't done this on their own, and why they have to negotiate between the legislature and the governor, right? They're looking at the politics, and they're trying to, it's like playing mom and dad, right? In order to get your way. And it's very smart on them. They know how to discuss this with the senators, and that's how they got their support. I'm sure that discussion will come up also on the floor, but at the end of the day, I can see where the legislature will want to pass this. And not want to delay it any further, or have these business folks go back to the governor to ask for additional support directly from the American Rescue Plan. She already made it known that it shouldn't be that way. Where she has complete control now of close to $600 million, where she could. And she could, if she wanted to later, with her transfer authority, replenish her whatever department. She can use general funds if she wanted to as well. She doesn't even need us to dictate where this money is going to come from, right?
Yeah, I mean, she could give you guys the week off and this morning say, executive order, $50 million LEAP program, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That's it.
Exactly. But yet the governor goes to the National Governors Association on this panel to say how the National Governments Association was able to put through the direction of President Biden to put all their legislatures in check, so they know we have control of this money. And by the way, Governor, the majority in the 36 Guam legislature is Democrats. Your committees are controlled by Democrats. You're basically telling the majority, which is your fellow Democrats, stay in your place. and it's not necessarily that we're a co-equal branch of government, but it just stay away. Don't write me. Don't call me. Just listen on whatever channel I am on. Though it won't be the link, but just listen to what I have to say. It's so unfortunate, and to go over there and boost it like that. Yeah, it's insulting.
Yeah, I got the clip actually,
I really
Senator.
don't appreciate it.
Let's just refresh your colleagues' memories before you go into session this morning.
Look how we were discussing about the ARP, and one of the things that we wanted is for the governors to have discretionary power over the ARP, and that happened, right? We were given, and I'll tell you, my senators in Guam are very upset because they cannot appropriate the $596 million that.
You know, it gets me that little laugh. Whoever that governor was like, stupid senators. Oh, you got stupid senators in your place too? Oh, yeah, we got them too.
Yeah, and I totally disagree with that statement. It's our duty as legislatures. Yes, Organic Act, you got it, Governor, spend it, but it's still our duty. It's our job as legislatures to make the voice heard on the recommendations on how this is to be spent. And if you're going to use taxpayers' money to go on this trip just to discredit the Guam legislature, I don't think that helps our community at all. Go through this pandemic and try to work well together. It's a continuous situation that the governor has put the island in, and that's why we keep on seeing these things as well, with the pandemic aid for the villages, with the municipalities getting their money as well. Same attitude. But at the end of the day, this is our governor, and this is how things work. So we still continue to fight, and we still continue to raise our voice, and hopefully and pray. And as the Virgin Mary's or Santa Maria Cumberland statue goes around in my village on December 8th around 9:30 in front of Tumon, I'll be waving my white handkerchief too. Help me.
Not your white flag, though, I hope.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go, Senator James Moylan. Mayor Jesse Alex, just a couple minutes away from jumping on the show here. Monday, December 6th, 2021. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with more of the link next on this Monday morning. Good morning.
The Novena to the Christ Child, a podcast series on KUAM Communication, a local Christmas tradition reimagined with all 9 days available on demand on the KUAM Podcast Network beginning December 6th.